Hello there, everybody. Thank you for joining us today as we start off our inaugural session of Planes of Providence here on the Heroes Without Limits channel. I am blessed, fortunate, lucky, all the words of wonderful divine radiance that I can give to my wonderful players who are going to be joining me for this season. We have some delightful folks with some delightful characters and backstories and potential twists, turns, and ways that this story and this homebrew world that I'm bringing you, the first one I ever made, to this channel. But before we can get into the full story, you need to know who all of us are. So I'll get that one out of the way just to set the tone and not put anyone on the spot. Hello there, I'm Angela. I use she, her pronouns. I'm going to be what this system of Quest RPG calls the guide, or as I have cheekily referred to myself in our private Discord, as the Fireburb guide. So hello there, everyone. For those who are interested in knowing, I deal with depression, anxiety, gender dysphoria, and I think chronic PTSD, as well as some forms of disordered eating and such. So that is me. You'll be probably seeing a lot of those themes, and if you make any of those sorts of terrible jokes about any of such things, I will find you, and I will find you again. So with that being said, if someone else would like to just introduce yourself and maybe what your role and character is, not many more details beyond that, just name, pronouns, character, maybe role, and if you are comfortable in doing so, disabilities and such, or issues around mental, physical, chronic health that you deal with. So who would like to be the first brave soul, unless you would like me to be the teacher and just call on you? Gavrin, why don't you go first?
I'll just raise my hand. Hi, my name is Gabrin. I go by they, them, or air. My character's name is Nimi and Isla. They go by they, them, or air, and I deal with a lot of bipolar and executive function issues and learning disabilities, as well as chronic pain and other things like that. But I still do things with my hands. So.
Thank you. And who would like to be the next one to introduce themselves? I see a Jen.
That is me, Jen Verb. Hi guys, I am Jen. I go by she, her. I am playing Serena, our lovely naturalist. And I suffer from depression, anxiety, PTSD, and ADD. Lots of Ds.
Nope. Gonna...
That is not a euphemism. Come on now.
Yes. Oh, it sure is.
This is a private joke between Inez and myself. Inez, since you've spoken next, you get to introduce yourself next.
You know what? That's all right. Hi, it is me, Inez. Hi. My name is Inez, pronouns she, her, and today I will be playing Haurian, the elf fighter, and she's very buff, as we will soon come to find out. Let's see. I myself deal with autism, ADHD, executive dysfunction, and maybe some depression mixed in somewhere. Yeah, that's me, I guess.
It's like the best kind of gumbo, except on the worst days, it's the worst kind of gumbo.
Yes, it is.
The spiciness
You mean every
is
day?
sadness. Yes, yep. Every day. The spiciness is sadness.
I season my life with my tears.
Oh God.
Jay, save us from most of us
making crack about our lives. You?
Yes.
Okay. Right, hello, everybody. My name is Jace. My pronouns are they, them. I will be playing Farron Wildwood, who is going to be the party ranger. And my issues are anxiety, depression, and I believe fibromyalgia, though it is currently unconfirmed.
Chronic life. It's the best, except when it's not. Alrighty, so for our wonderful viewers, welcome. So this is a setting that I've worked on for, oh gosh, almost 2.5 years now. So my players are getting to do something different than what I've normally done for this setting, and that you are getting to play in an era before Great Tragedy, before the defining feature of this world falls into disarray. Yes, Jen, you should look at that with suspicion.
Yeah, I already have a theory.
So, welcome, viewers and players, to the continent and world of Agni. You come into a world in which life began not with shadow, not with light per se, but rather with flame. A divine flame and spark born of the first being, the divine phoenix and bird known as Ignis, who, following many different things that have happened throughout the course of the history of this world, has reincarnated, has rebirthed, whatever term of suddenly springing back into life you would like to use, and given life back to this continent. And where we start now is in the 12th era, in the 12th cycle, in which the divine bird's body, at the end of its life, falls to the continent of Agni, and its very physical form, with dwindling magical energy, replenishes the life force of the continent. Though the start of the 13th era has not come just yet, the 13th kindling has not yet been lit. We are on the eve of this, however. The heralds of gods of fate and of compassion have marked in this continent that the Divine One will be coming back very soon. But before that can happen, as with many things that are powerful, wonderful, and celebrated in many cultures, we got to have a party. We got to have a festival. And there is right now no better place outside of the self-proclaimed best region, best coastal city of Backfire than the city that we find ourselves looking at now, the city of Chantico. We turn the camera, getting a bird's eye view above this massive region, this city, 4 quadrants, not skyscrapers of the modern era, but massive, complex buildings, so precise in design and architecture, it's as though any modern mathematician would look at it and wonder, that shouldn't be that accurate, and yet it is. That can't be that. So perfectly aligned. Ramps leading up to high stepstone buildings, murals covering with various texts of varieties of languages, colors inspired by Impressionist and Muralista style paintings, peoples of various types, various backgrounds, various origins arriving. As we are at the eve of planar convergence, we are on the eve of the various planes themselves beginning to overlap into this continent, and the denizens of each beginning to step in. But what's most curious is as the camera is taking this swooping view all across this region, ground, hard, deep browns, except in places where it turns into the rich, vibrant color of gold dust, and this warmth that emanates out of it as though the land itself still has an almost volcanic energy to it. Not surprising, given that there is a dormant volcano in the northern region of the actual city itself. 2 things stand out from this camera view. 1, a massive statue denoting a feminine form. One hand, its left hand raised up high, holding what appears to be a crystalline and rock designed depiction of a condor. Wrapped around its other arm, pressed down to the ground, palm downwards, a reptilian creature just wrapped around it. That is one thing that's curious about this camera lens, but the other thing is that the camera peels back and we notice we are seeing this from the perspective of a massive condor being ridden by a dark-skinned elven individual who's simply taking a rounds and seems to be preparing for some sort of performance, a ride around the area. It's hard to tell. The camera pans around and pulls back as we find ourselves looking out, view of our camera pulling back to a caravan that is pulling into the city, one of its quadrants. And as we do that, we see a curious individual just sitting, waiting to arrive into town. Serena,
Hi, that's me.
if you wouldn't mind introducing to everyone, going through essentially what the quest system's given us a little way of getting to know who you are. So if you
Okay.
wouldn't mind
Should I
going
just
through
read off the?
pretty much, yeah. So when people see you, what do they notice first about you?
They first notice very long silver hair, interwoven with some amount of vine matter, something green, with leaves in some places, and a sturdy ash staff that I carry at my side.
What are you wearing, and what do you move with?
I wear leaf scale mail, as I mentioned before, vines in my hair, and I move with a sort of flowing grace. Um, but my footprints are quite shallow.
And where are you from, and what are your people known for?
I am from the primeval garden, where my people are known for their strong connection with the natural world.
What do you believe in, and what sometimes gets in the way of that?
I believe in the teachings of patience, peace, and harmony that my people teach. However, the reckless and adventurous side of me can sometimes mess with that a little bit, getting in the way.
And what, pray tell, Serena, do you dream of?
I dream of getting in touch with my Fae ancestry and creating a home for myself in the land of the Fae one day.
Wonderful. And that we now have is Serena. And you'll
That's me.
notice, Serena, sitting right next to you is a rather charming individual. She seems to have hair quite similar to yours, except it's as though autumn itself has come alive within her hair. Massive curls of reds, of vibrant red oranges. There's little speckles of yellow and even little bits of green. Her outfit um, seems to be as though bark, vine, and leaves have formed this rather flattering, if maybe dipping a little bit low, kind of dress that is strapless. She's a very confident woman and just
I'm gonna marry
flows
her.
downwards. We're off to a good start. This is the best reaction we have. Flows down and she speaks with you quite kindly. So, dear, it's been a little bit, and if I may ask, I've been trying to be respectful of your time and energy. What brings you to Chantico?
We'll call it the curiosity of someone who's never left their hometown. And you?
Oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Mostly I go where nature tells me to go. I'm wherever nature needs some room to grow without restraint and such.
If you don't mind me asking, where are you from?
Oh, I'm from the Primeval Garden as well.
Okay, I assume I don't know this person.
You don't?
Okay.
They would have given
Okay.
the name Mel.
Mel, okay. I'll write that down. And what brings you to Chantico? Aside from spreading the leaves.
Well, we all must spread out and enjoy our freedoms and such from time to time, even especially if we haven't had the luxury of getting to enjoy them throughout a lot of our life. But I'm here possibly to see a few siblings. There is a grand festival about to begin, and I sense people are about to engage in just a little bit of revelry.
Your siblings live here.
In a manner of speaking, we don't get to see each other very often, only every few odd amount of years.
Did they leave home?
In a manner of speaking, we've had in the past some disagreements with each other and with our parents. So we don't
Oh,
actually get along very well.
I can certainly understand that. But hopefully there is some reconciliation in the future, if not just some harmless revelry.
Revelry is never harmless, but at the very least, it's always entertaining.
It's only harmless. Well, it's really only harmful if you're on the wrong end, isn't it?
Well, I trust Serena that you will do well and you will go where nature compels you to. And I think we have a little bit of nature coming up on us now. And
Oh, do?
You watch as nearby, like imagine a very ovular eye, but a tear in the plains just
Oh
appears
my.
right nearby as you see her just stop the caravan. And you see four individuals, four beings crop out, pardon. You see, firstly, springing out bestial in movements, very fast and speedy, an almost perhaps dog-like creature, but with spiky fur, almost like a mixture of a possum and a dog, and a
Friend.
long prehensile tail that has an
Oh.
almost humanoid-like hand.
Oh, now I'm kind of scared.
It opens up its mouth, and you expect something much more, beast-like or animal-like, and you hear a small child wail.
Do I know what
Following,
this is?
uh, this is a very rare creature. Uh, you would know it. The real world equivalent. It's called a awizotl, but it is
Okay.
essentially it is a denizen, we shall say, of the spring court of the land of the Fae.
Oh boy.
And following this individual, you see tall, imposing hind legs of a goat, massive pair of horns, humanoid, but with a bowl-shaped face and body, and fur all across the form that seems to also be covered by a smattering of very vibrant, like it's reds and oranges, almost like robes, but they look almost like the shades of sunlight of the sun themselves, and sunshine at different parts of the day have just faded out in different hues. And this very tall and imposing figure just sort of causing this small creature to come to heel. And almost entirely palette, hue, and tone contrast, another being emerges. Spindly, skeletal, an aura of snow and white winter around it, a mask-like face that seems like there's buzzards following all around this form, with a very almost sinister sort of grin on their face. Just sort of
I'm gonna marry that one too.
And finally, because if it hasn't been easy to pick up now, these are of the four courts. Autumn arrives. Like fading leaves forming a mantle and pauldrons, armor, reds, orange, greens, yellows, just the fading of the end of life, but the transition into a next one. Hair that for one moment is pulled up in these long, beautiful, curled braids. And then at the next moment, when you turn to look at her, it's almost like they've become this massive shock of pointed, vine and thorny hair. A very regal appearance, regardless of either form you see. Mel turns to you. Well, Serena, it would seem that we've had some visitors from the Fae appear with us. I wish you luck in your revelry.
Has have I ever seen Fae before?
I think you probably, the way the Primeval Garden is, it does have overlap. These are
Okay.
these are, you would gather, much older and probably much more powerful Fae beings,
Yeah.
far beyond what the
Yeah.
Primeval Garden would normally have.
I think I'm a little starstruck.
By the way, you never gave your name to Mel.
I was gonna ask about that. I decided to let it go, but now I'm not gonna let it go. So we've seen winter, autumn. Have we seen spring and
Spring.
summer?
Spring, you would imagine, is the very chaotic little being with the humanoid hand tail. And
Oh
summer,
my.
the vibrant sunlight, fur, and clothing, you would imagine, is the,
That'll do it.
yeah.
Okay. Do I know anything about how to address Fae of this caliber?
I'm going to leave that one up to you as to, I'll put it to you this way.
Yeah.
You can let you determine whether or not you do, but also bear in mind, how starstruck would Serena be in this moment?
Really starstruck. I think she kind of manages like a weak little bow. And the most formal greeting a very starstruck descendant of the Fae could muster, which is probably greetings.
It's there's a slight little like yelp from the spring horde creature, and the winter one seems like starts moving close, and you almost hear like a sniffing noise from them, and then they seem almost disappointed that, and the buzzards around them seem a little like sad that you're not more nearing the end of life, if you catch my drift.
Yeah.
And but the autumn court one just sort of holds themselves back, just looks at you, and there's the faintest bit of a smirk and a wink, and then carries onward.
God, I'm gonna marry them all. Okay. I'm going to take a step back in deference, but also stand my ground just enough to not betray the oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god in my face.
It's about right. It's about the appropriate response. But yeah.
Yeah.
You see the caravan start to pull away, and just Mel just wishes you off. The last thing you hear from her is, "May the maiden's grace be with you."
What does that mean?
And you look back, the caravan's going down the road, and then you look back again. It's like leaves and vines have just wrapped around in a small, very quick flurry of wind, and just it's gone.
Oh, well, cool. Magic. I'm just gonna look around to see if anyone else saw the weirdest interaction I've had in my entire life.
No, it looks like the Fae have already moved onwards.
Okay. Well, I'm going to make my way toward the center of town and just pull out like a little traveling book, and I'm gonna sketch what I saw.
Yeah. While that's happening, the cut over to another quadrant of town. Camera pulls back. Once again, we are pulled into that avian view from the condors above, just flying around town. And we come down to another caravan that's moving into town right now. Aurian.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
If you wouldn't mind describing yourself.
Yes. So we know my name is Haurian. I'm 150 years old, and I stand about 6'2" tall. So we know I'm the party's fighter. When people see me, they first notice my iridescent skin which is very built. The large pointy ears and my friendly demeanor. I wear full plate armor, fingerless gloves, and I move with a heavy step, a heavy footfall, I feel. I'm from a capital city, which is located in, what was it again? The Warrior's Downfall, which is a mountain range. And my people there are known for being extremely buff elves. It's basically just in a society of buff elves, so that's cool. I believe in compassion, but my reckless side can get in my way.
Oh
And-
no, we have two of us.
And
GM fodder. GM fodder.
and I dream of returning to my hometown as a renowned hero. And if that didn't work out, I hope I died an honorable death.
It's either I'm going to be awesome or I'm dead. There's no in
Yep.
between.
No,
There's
there is no
very,
in
very
between.
extremes.
Yes. Mhm.
I also appreciate in the chat from Green Rex, buff elves for the win. Yes, more of this. Yes, but you also have a companion, Harian. You are privy to seeing that there is a smattering of different things happening as you've turned into a corner to one of the four quadrants that is a little bit more bustling at this moment, as Serena came in where a lot of people are just sort of just starting coming in more near one of the southeastern sort of corners where folks are just setting aside the caravans. This seems to be, your guide seems to be wanting to bring you in a little bit more. And there is, more than anything else, you smell food. You see food, you see drink, you see all manner of things around you. There is a sweetness in the air of the smell of heavy citrus and also various glass jar containers that look as though they have watery some sort of watery substance, but they have what looks like not dried, whole fruits that have been stashed near the bottom of them and have just been soaking for what smells like probably weeks and heightened the flavor of all of them. There you hear vendors all around you, you just calling out various wares, and there's a rich smell of just frying oil. There is a ton of fried treats just everywhere. There's little bits of pork rinds. There's these little sugary sort of sticks that have been coated in cinnamon and brown sugar. There's a curious merchant who appears to have a touch of the wizarding talent, who looks as though they've gone, look, I've invented a new treat, and has just sort of taken ice and has sort of summoned a blade through pure ethereal magic, sliced it into pieces, and is now pulling this interestingly powdered, dusty sort of substance, converted it into a liquid, and is sprinkling it and drenching it on the ice. I call it shaved ice. And there's just like
That's
four
good.
people just sort of just looking at this like, Mom, is this okay? Can I have that? I'm like, it's okay, honey. It's okay, I promise. What do you flavor this with? It's like, well, honestly, whatever flavor you would like. There's strawberries, there's blueberries, there's other various kinds of treats and such. This is a very strange old wizard who seems to be of the culinary brand of wizardry, which we need more culinary wizards, just noting that for the record. All fancy mediums, culinary wizard should be a thing. But you came in on a very busy side, and your companion who's sort of taking hold of the caravan, rich, deep brown skin, very heavy reddish tones, like the sunlight, the sun has blessed them for many and many weeks and years with simply just the warmest of skin, the warmest of tones, has kind of like a crown around their head that's red crystal and bits that's been sort of like, and gems that's been sort of hardened to fit their head. she is a massive woman. She's like 9.5 foot tall, so she's probably somewhere in the range of giantkin.
Yes.
Also, thank you, chat, for the comment of Soda Wizard, because that's also a brilliant idea. We need that.
His
Oh, yeah,
name
that's
is
me.
Fizzard. Fizzard the
That sure was me. I warned you about my portmanteaus. I did.
That's
I
Wizard.
I warned
I
them all.
appreciate this. I appreciate this thought. But
Yes.
this woman, she sleeveless, because obviously, built as all hell. And even through this very, what seems like very casual, very good for just everyday wear, sort of like pantaloons and shirt and such, ripped to all hell. Like very buff giantkin lady who's your companion.
awesome.
Yes, I know. I've picked up on what my players like at this point, which is just go for very gay.
Yes.
Because
I think
yeah,
so.
this
I,
is
I, can,
par
I
for the
cannot
course.
wait. I cannot wait to have Faye children with Mel.
Yes.
This mysterious, I know your name, but you don't know my name.
That might be difficult for a few different reasons.
It's fine.
Yes, the individual would have given would just speak to you in this moment, and just say, "Well, it's been a pleasure taking you into town. From what I recall, you seem to have had some trouble with the planes and some of the other creatures there. Are you sure you're going to be all right?"
I'm gonna be just fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. What was your name again? Did I catch it?
She would give the name Nady, Neidy.
Awesome. Hi, my name is Hao, by the way. Good to meet you. I'm so glad you brought me into this part of town because and in that moment you can just through her armor hear her tummy just rumble. Like it's a big like a tummy stretch, I always call it. It's like someone going like you know. And so I'm like, yeah, I am starving. So thank you so much for bringing me here, specifically here. Thank you.
You are more than welcome. This is a place of great hospitality, and also, am I wrong in understanding that you are quite the combat inclined?
Well, I mean, if there is a good fight, I mean.
Would you care to humor me for just a moment? Just to
Of course.
say, may test how strong you are.
Of course.
Just like there really isn't like sleeves up to about the elbow, but there is the tiniest bit like right around like from forearm and bicep to about elbow. Like holds out a hand and almost just at random at a table appears and is like arm wrestling contest.
I'm like, you are on, and I just like I take a seat, I guess, if there are random chairs that are that have
There are also for some reason chairs have appeared as well.
amazing. Take a seat, and I like.
So Hal, I would like you to roll the first d20 of the season.
Oh,
of the adventure. We're gonna see how well this goes in your contest against Nady. This may be something worthy of praise way later.
please. Oh my god, please be good.
We're gonna find out.
I got a 17.
That is a success. You watch as you grip the hand, it's like hearing thunder cracking across the city. Like this woman is just built to all shit. This is a that this person is a giantkin just by size and shape and what have you alone, but this individual just oozes and radiates strength by their very core. And yet 3 feet shorter, still buff as all hell. It feels like an eternity, but at most it's like 30 seconds, and then And you did not realize there had already been a crowd that had gathered around, as you've picked up at this point displays of strength, of revelry, and especially and of combat are quite prized in Chantico. It is in some ways part of the religious reverence and activities here in the city.
Amazing. So when I chuck her arm like onto the table, I like stand up and I go like, and I like try to rile the crowd. I'm like going around to everyone, and I'm like, I'm chanting with the crowd or whatever.
You get in the hype going.
Yep.
Excellent. And Nady just sort of picks herself up, and there's this big grin. Like there's a for a moment this look of like, I almost had you, but also a look of just deep respect in return.
Amazing. I of course like go back and I like give her like one of these handshakes, and I just congratulate her on being just an A plus competitor, because I know I grew up with giants, so I'm like, this is big stuff.
It's like, well, it's good to see that your strength is quite merited and quite justified, and with all of your boasting.
Of course. Thank you so much.
I'm certain that others who get to delight in your presence will also be delighted to enjoy more of these displays of strength, and will appreciate your care and concern if you help them.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind words.
Of course. I hope that your will is much stronger than your brawn, though, because I sense, and sort of turns over her shoulder, you might need a strong will at some point. And just like with Serena, another tear in the plains opens nearby, and you see two individuals accompanied by a few other creatures walk through. These two individuals, it's hard to actually make out a form, but the best way I can put it is by asking you the question, what does Hal find attractive?
Okay. You know what? She's not really picky as to like
Good.
gender or
That
whatever.
makes this even easier for me.
Yes. So it's like, whatever. If it's like big or small or whatever, if it's got little muscle, it's got big muscle, that's all cool. Pretty hair is cool.
You see two very humanoid individuals, both wearing, it's very hard to make out gender denotations of any kind. They both seem to be wearing, at one point, they both look like they're wearing long flowing gowns that sort of drape. They don't have straps, but these ones have little frills and little bits of fabric that hang down long around the arms and especially the wrists, that look like as though they're formed of starlight and of moonlight. It's the most enchanting, it's the most dreamy sort of just gowns and outfits you've ever seen. At some points they switch and they seem almost like very formal, almost like dress shirts. And it's just whatever Hal finds the most enchanting and the most attractive, there's this moment of just feeling pulled towards them. And they both just sort of look at you and they both sort of smile. And there's just a very split second of just a much more nightmarish sort of visage just takes over their face. And then it goes away. And then they just keep walking. And the two creatures behind them, it's very hard to tell what they are. It feels, if you've ever had that moment at night where you swear something is following you and you haven't quite escaped it, it's like shadows just following just all around. And then when you turn to look back, you swear you don't see it anymore, but you don't feel like it's gone. Nady continues, I would be careful. Folks from the land of dreams are quite seductive. And they can bring out your best dreams or your worst nightmares.
That doesn't sound very cool, but I'll just like keep my eyes out. I guess I'll keep an eye out for him. Thank you.
Of course. And dear, may the warden's strength be with you.
I just like give one of these, and I just go, thank you.
And as you pull your head up, she's gone.
Oh, that's I go out loud. I go, whoa, where'd she go?
Green Rex, I will neither confirm nor deny these are demons. I will simply say, what is the creature that what's one type of creature that becomes your wildest fantasies?
But also your wildest nightmare. Yeah, with a prize. Yep. Okay. Cool.
As Hao is recovering from being starstruck and also now smelling more food that vendors are giving out samples. You hear the best two words you could ever hear, which is free samples.
Yes, I run.
How you pull back and you just run, and as that happens, go back up to aerial view, and we come to a third caravan moving into the city, not quite having made it in this time. And we see this coming upon a half-elven individual. Farron.
Yes.
Would you care to describe yourself to the group?
Okay, so Farron is 5'7" tall. When people see me, they first notice my long fire red hair, light gold eyes, and claw-like scars across my neck.
Excellent. You also have a companion with you. This individual seems a little caught up with going through what looks like personal records in mostly written scrolls and long documents. But you see that she has very deep black skin, more silvery, cooler sort of tones. Has a bit of a halo sort of crown braid. So it sort of forms two long braids that form a halo on the top. And then there's, interestingly enough, five braids that extend down from it, from the peak point where it's sort of held up, almost sort of like the height of like a top knot, but more just sort of held up high. And the 5 braids seem to be dyed in tones of bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and electrum. And the individual is wearing this very long traveling coat that's sort of buttoned up and tied right across the middle. Very long, comfortable pantaloons, very high, kind of almost like thigh high kind of boots. Very, very much like, very much made for practical traveling and handling horses. She says, and she sort of turns to you. Well, it seems I have everything in order. It's been a little bit since I've checked in. What brings you to the city?
I mean, I was just kind of traveling. I didn't really have any other ideas apart from that. It's all a little bit different compared to where I'm from.
I imagine you haven't gotten to travel very far from home for quite a while.
Oh, not at all. It's not many people leave home. We live on the outskirts of the primeval garden, and people are quite attached to home there.
People enjoy their comforts. Home is comfortable. Home is quaint, but travel, moving about, getting a little bit of air. I've always found that so fascinating. I've always found it so engaging and so wonderful. Wouldn't you agree?
Definitely.
Just getting to be out there, getting to talk with people, trade with people, just find new sights. Occasionally there is. She turns the cart to the left as you see there's a massive bird much more hostile to you than to previous people, try and like dive bomb the side of the caravan. And she's very casually just steers out of the way. She just gets the horses to just move out of the way. There is occasionally some danger and all of that. Actually, would you mind doing me a favor? Would you mind picking that one off? I don't think I made a good impression on it a little while ago, and I think I don't think it's going to be to finish getting into the city.
Okay. Is this like an open caravan? Is there
Yeah,
room to
this
stand
one's a
up?
little bit more. This one's a little bit more open. It's less tapered over the top. Like there's a back covered section, but the front portion where you're at, there's a lot more open space to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just like horses up front. There's a lot of gear in the back, but a good chunk of this where you're actually currently seated, words hard, conjugations difficult. Where you're currently seated is open, and you do see there is this rather petulant and rather angry looking, almost like vulture like a creature, just going.
I'm just gonna look at it and just be like, I'm sorry about this, and just with my bow.
Roll a d20 and we'll see how this turns out, how well this turns out.
I'm gonna spend 3 action points for Deadeye. You automatically score a triumph with a ranged weapon on a nearby creature or object that you can target, and disable a limb.
It's just looking at you, and it sees you pull out the bow, and it almost seems to like point. It's flapping, and it sort of starts cackling, like it doesn't actually think you can make the shot. And then in the like half second where it closed its eyes while I was in the middle of laughing, it opens.
I just sort of like, with a bit of a sort of like cocksure smile, just kind of like just turn back around and sit down as if nothing happened.
That was quite impressive.
I know.
You know, if most folk who took it upon themselves to try and travel and let the spirit of travel follow through in their hearts, actually had half the skill that you did, I think they would last a lot longer. And I'd have to carry them a lot less places whenever I found them and needed to get them somewhere.
Well, I guess not everyone can be as good as me.
Well, we'll see if if those claims hold up once you're in the city. There are quite a few talented sharpshooters in there as well. Though, by the looks of things, and just seeing, like, looks over, like the bird is just doing kind of the awkward, like, just slight wing twitch. It's still alive, mind you. That didn't take it out, but it has the look on its face if a bird could indicate, like, I have made a big mistake. Like we're talking like low-key end of Avengers sort of expression of like just on the ground, just
the full. You may be wondering how I got myself into this mess.
Pretty much, it's that expression exactly. It's very much that, and that might break me this early. God damn it! I will not break this early. Inez knows it's very easy to do this to me.
It's too late now. You've broken.
Well, of course it's too late, but so that happens, and she still keeps smiling, and you make it into town, and again you make it to a section where you're hearing revelry. You are also seeing a lot more of what appear to be almost open performance theaters. It's like think the open kind of like black box theaters. Ooh. Where like there's a lot of open space where it's like the traditional theater sort of has the one open like third panel. This one is open on the what would be stage left and stage right. There's still a back wall panel, but you see there's various ramps and such for various kinds of actors of different abilities to get up to the stages. There's people of various different shapes, sizes, and forms. There are folks who are like performing like backflips, some of them while maneuvering around in wheelchairs. There's some folks who are in the middle of what look like full-on combat brawls where you're seeing one of them full-on plate armor and a shield and a giant-ass warhammer is wheeling towards someone. There's another person who has like an eye patch across the eye, very visibly like loss of vision in one of the eyes, and is just sort of like waiting for like the right moment. And then right as the warhammer is leaning in, as they're like wheeling towards them, they just slightly dodge out of the way and just do one stab like right underneath the collarbone where the armor was just, there's a weak spot right there.
Mhm.
And it was like, this, people seem to enjoy this kind of combat. There are various folks of various ranges, skill sets. You see archers, there's an archery range that's been set up, and there's all of the cliche movie scenes you see of like Robin Hood, like gets the arrow through the arrow. We're at the level, because this is a world of magic, there's like 6 arrows embedded through and split, where they're just like a 1/10 of a centimeter more difference, and you hear like 3 elven women and there's 2 Goliaths fighting with each other and arguing over who got the last arrow in and who was like the most center.
Can I, like, as we're going by in the caravan, just pull my bow again, fire a shot, see if I can hit bull?
Yes.
Oh, the cockiness of this character is going to get me killed. I know it.
Oh, I know this as well.
That's an 18.
That's a success. It's very much like you are hearing all of this. You're just hearing, well, I hit it in last. I was the last one to try and get it in. I did it fine. It's like, no. You didn't talk to him. He's wrong. I was the last one to get it in. Actually, I was the last one to get it in. I think I did it. I don't think you know what you're talking about. I was the last one to get it in. I don't exactly think any of you are right. It's the smallest person of the group. They're like 2.5 feet tall. Actually, I was the last one to get it in. And then 5 heads just all turn at once as they hear.
Oh, dang.
It's just from the car, I'll just call out, I think you'll find this one's mine.
Well. Your companion in the cart. Well, it looks like some of your cockiness is warranted.
I try my best.
Your best is quite good, I must say. May the winds of fortune and change be with you, friend. I wish you luck in your travels here and your time here.
And with you.
And in the event you ever need a favor from someone in town, offer them this. And pulls out what looks like a gold coin. And you take a look and to examine it, and when you turn back, she's gone. And the caravan is also gone again. And you look at both sides. One has a very cheeky smile, grinning. And the other one has sort of a winking face, and there's just a small inscription at the bottom. By the blessings of Lady S.
Okay then.
I love Gavrin's reactions. It's going to be my favorite thing of this whole thing. And also I appreciate Green Rex's response. People have a tendency to mist away here. Hey, when you got access to Misty Step, you're going to use it. When you got access to Dimension, when you're in a world where you got access to Dimension Door, you're going to use it. When you can teleport.
I'm more of a shadow step person.
I'm a shadow step. Thank you. Oh,
I'm edgy.
Instead of what is your zodiac sign, it's what is your preferred method of teleportation? Excuse me while I plug in my computer for just a moment.
Yeah, forget about your zodiac sign. Are you a shadow step person
Are you a shadow step or dimension door person? Are you a teleport person?
I'm actually a shadow walk. Hashtag see the Pathfinder fetchling.
There we go.
Thunderstep every time.
Oh, why did I forget about Thunderstep? This is bullshit.
This is Thunderstep erasure.
This is Thunderstep erasure. I'm gonna enjoy this group so much. Also, if no, I dimension door to my fridge is like 10 feet away if I could. You know, some days are like that. Some days,
Yep.
high pain days, definitely. Those days, that's when you do it. But we turn to, as Farron is perhaps either confused or maybe slightly perplexed by the instantly disappearing woman in a caravan,
Both.
whose hair was the color of currency. The camera turns one more time. Up above. One last caravan. This one a little more modest, coming in a quieter part of town. A very small individual at the helm of this one. Very, very tiny. And she looks she has very inviting eyes, sort of strawberry blondish hair, more tanned kind of skin. Also looks like she's probably worked out in the fields a fair bit and gotten a lot of sun. She looks like she has a bit of a tired but very sweet and understanding expression on her face. She looks like she has sort of fingerless gloves, so it looks like she keeps a nice tight hand on the reins, but it seems almost like they're kind of weighted. Like there's almost an element of like using them to help deal with pain as she's moving around. And you also see her occasionally just sort of doing little like snapping motions every now and then. There's almost like a small little tick that she has that she just, it seems like she's taking a deep breath every now and then and just snapping, and it seems like it calms her down. But she turns to the back of her caravan and she sees another individual. Nim, if you wouldn't mind describing yourself.
Hello. Nim is somewhere between 4 feet and 5 feet, leaning more towards 5 feet, but they're not going to admit that they're under 5 feet tall. They look to be around late 29, 30 years old, but also they have sloping ears that are not exactly elven. They look a little bit kind of droopy, just kind of poking out from under their hair. And they have long brown, although it looks like they may have taken some clay or something to dye it, almost a little russet instead of leaving it as is. They wear some combination of chainmail and leather armor that's woven together, and they carry a hammer and a small backpack and a shield. They look kind of they're spaced out, but they have a slight resting bitch face.
I approve of this description so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, hello dear. I don't know if you need more of a nap or anything, but just wanted to let you know that we're here.
Oh, thanks. They turn a little bit, and the side of their face, they have freckles, but also the side of their face has a little bit of a green tinge around some of the skin, particularly the parts near their hair. And they sort of have a perpetual blush, but it's a very cool colored blush. It's not like a red or a pink. And they just look back and be like, so what are you doing in town?
Well, I'm just making sure some of the folks who aren't feeling as well are getting taken care of, making sure some of the folks who have a little bit more trouble getting around are getting to the folks, finding a lot of their caregivers and such. It's been a bit of a long day going back and forth to a few different places, but I wanted to make sure I at least dropped you off before I started getting to some other folks. I have to go check in with some of the other caregivers to make sure that everyone's handling things just fine. And you look off a little bit in the distance and you see there are half human, half spider like humanoids. Also, actually, before I continue, as a note, for at least however long we're in Chantica, for folks who are watching this, I'll need to do better about this next time on content warnings. Snakes will not come up. It will be mentioned in passing the one time with the statue because reasons. Spiders will come up, and those are the only, I think, common triggers and such. But just so you know, heads up, spiders. But you do see lower half like Black Widow bodies, top half humanoids, who look as though they're helping some folks who look as though they have varying levels of mobility. They're actually almost like humanoid like transit systems. They're helping folks ride on their backs and get around. And for folks who are who in the middle of the festivities, it seems like this is a bit more of a quieter section where there's still some music in the background. You can see that there's a lot of folks who are involved in pottery making, there's songs, there's music being shared, there are folks who are painting, and you see that there's varieties of different kinds of like grubs and like flower blossoms that are being used to actually like either be pulverized or smushed to actually create dyes for clothings and such are nearby. And you see that there appears to be one rather imposing but still very sweet-faced one of these arachnid humanoids who is waiting for your traveling companion as well. But yeah, I'm just making sure. I have to go chat with my sis for a little bit, but I just wanted to make sure I get you into town and just make sure if you wanted to get to the more excitable kind of parts of town, they're not too far away. But yeah, sorry, kind of had to take a little bit more of the low-key sort of area because I had to check in on some folks. We try our best whenever any of these big old festivals happen to make some more spaces for folks where they get a little overwhelmed sensory-wise.
That sounds good. I might have to check in later.
It can be a lot of noise, but you know, you try and make home for people where you can. Try and be hospitable and all that.
Yeah, we really do. Did that. I did that. Yeah. I freelanced a lot.
If you, then I think you know that sometimes folks are a little stingy about caring for folks who need it. It's a little unfortunate.
Is this America?
Ernest just yet.
Yeah, no, Nim is just gonna roll their eyes and be like, yeah, people are bad sometimes.
Well, sometimes isn't all the time. You do what you can for folks. Sometimes it doesn't work out and it's not worth it, and other times it is. And that's sort of the joy of wanting to help people. It's sort of the joy of wanting to try and make everywhere you can a home for them.
Yeah, home is not always where the heart is, but it's nice when it can be close.
Don't normally do this for everybody, but she pulls out like a little pouch that looks like it also has a coin in it. Here, if you go to a spot, it's called Ciro's Haven. This one, there's a rather sweet older gnome lady who would just be, if you ever need a spot to feel like home, she's quite kind and more than happy to give you a space to lodge for a bit if you aren't too keen on lodging with anywhere else in the city right now, or if you just want a little space for your own. Also, I did happen to catch that you like to drink every now and then. She also has some really good booze. If you're interested.
Sounds good. You don't have to do that, but thank you.
Oh, that's what you do for people. You pass forward the kindness. You pass forward making home. That's what you do.
Yeah. Besides, we're all doing our best.
Truly are. I hope you feel like the best here in Chanticos works out for you.
Third time's a charm, right? I think it's third time. They're like counting on their fingers like, wait, when was the last home I left? Oh yeah, okay, 3.
I was about to say, if you're feeling rather daring, ask Alphenia for the spider's bite. Maybe you shouldn't this time. Maybe not this time.
Maybe I'll just have tea for a bit instead.
She does make good tea, and if you're interested in something sweet too, there's a lot of fruit juice drinks all around the stalls. Or if you're a little more inclined to something a little bit more hot, there's some nice. I think there are these kind of, it's almost like hot chocolate kind of drinks, but they kind of thicken them up a little bit with starch, and I think you can get them with strawberry flavors as well.
You had me at strawberries.
Well, take care, Nim, and may wherever you find the home for you here, may it keep you pleasant, and may your hearth be comfortable, happy, sweet, and everything you need it to be.
That's very kind. I haven't heard that saying in a while.
You haven't heard that saying, Nim. It's a very old saying said by acolytes of the Hearthkeeper. And right as you turn around, you look, she's gone. And when you look to go see the other arachnid individual, she's also gone. And in contrast to Farron's complete absence of portals, 2 open up nearby to you.
Well then.
Oops, what did I do now?
You see, emerging out of these portals, in kind of complete contrast to one another. One, you see what looks like small, tiny little sprite-like beings, but it's as though their forms are made of clouds and like rolling gales and like little mini like tornadoes, but are formed into the shapes of humanoids with little sprite-like wings on the back of them. And
oh, it's cute. It's probably gonna kill me.
You understand fancy settings very well. Followed by 2 other sets of individuals. You see what look like carrying massive pack loads on their backs. One set looks like about child size, very small and tiny, except when you look at their faces, they're old men and old women. And they look like they just skitter about, the little sprite-like beings. And the other group that you see is, they look almost like miners in outfit and attire, like modern day miners, but they have reddish faces, blonde hair, kind of pale skin, and white beards. And the ears look faintly goblin-esque, but not quite. These don't look like creatures you've probably ever seen. That's one rift that opens.
Oh, that was only one.
That was one. The second one is a little bit more, causes a startle, and you kind of have to pull back a bit just from the immense heat that it courses out of the portal. Because you see in this one, at first, little chittering, and you see like little footfalls of what at first just looks like living magma, but forms humanoid shapes of almost like little volcanic little children composed of living molten rock and magma. just scampering around. But then you hear a, and you see 7 dwarf-like individuals emerge, each wielding a massive warhammer, standing at attention, and gather the children up as 2 additional individuals appear out of the portal. One, far less humanoid, far more hulking, as in think the Hulk in terms of size, a living entity of crystalline gems and volcanic rock, but somewhat bestial, but like their hands are coated in just pure fire. This is an entity, a being, a guardian of pure living flame. And yet the individual who emerges out of it seems almost elegant by comparison. Deep black hair, lips as red as blood, skin that at one moment is as pale as snow, but then in another moment the gown erupts into, that she's wearing, this long elegant gown erupts into flames that cycle through colors of yellow, orange, red, and then white, and go back again. The 7 dwarven individuals stand at attention to her. She looks down with almost like a sneer on her face, and then carries forward. The 7 dwarven individuals following this fiery, pale-skinned individual and this living entity of fire and volcanic crystalline rock just following shortly behind. And in the distance, at the same time now, for all 4 of you, you hear, way off in the distance, "Come one, come all, gather in, for when midday arrives, a celebration of avian feats. Our grand acrobatic performers of the sky, of the elemental planes of fire, of air, of water, and of earth will delight you all. But until then, enjoy our delightful foods, enjoy our wonderful services here. If you'd like to get into a fight, I can facilitate that for you. If you'd like to perform for some people, I can facilitate that for you. My name is Sean. Some folks call me Gilmore. It's lovely to have you all here. Come, 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 come. If you ever need a wonderful companion to be your friend, to facilitate a brawl or a brew, or perhaps a few other things, come and chat. But at midday, welcome all to the Avian Spectacular. But enjoy your food until then, everyone. Tuck in.
Yeah, Nim's running off for free samples.
I think it's like in the middle of how is like working one of like the it's like, I think it's like many pieces of pork on a stick, and she's just
kebab.
Yes,
Yes.
she's just like hammering those, and then she hears this person, and then she hears like facilitating a fight, and she's like, well, I guess the eating is over. I gotta go. And she just heads towards where she heard that voice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
free
much you all.
food.
Free food, fighting. What is Serena and Farron? What are they doing?
Any chance to show off, Farron is there.
I think, go ahead, sorry.
No, you go.
I think Serena is going to go find this Gilmore, / Sean. And in the process, partake in the food, the festivities, maybe, like if there's a dart throwing contest, just real quick, participate, absorb the culture, really.
Oh man, I'm so there for dart throwing.
Yo, you want to dart throw together?
I mean,
Sorry, as Tori
Farron
would
is
say,
trying to like dual hand eating like the like turkey leg on a stick and also throwing darts.
are we just
There-
like at a Ren fair? Is that what's happening now? Because we didn't get a Ren fair because of COVID. Do we just get a Ren fair now?
I mean, I'm not saying you're getting essentially a Mexican open festival market, but what I am saying is you are getting an open Mexican and Bolivian festival market. Like this is literally just all of the food and things that I've described so far. This is just all just stuff either I grew up with or that I've looked up that my dad grew up with from Mexico.
That is
So
amazing.
this
I
is
love
it.
literally just
It does really remind me of the Greek festivals my family went to, except for like the food is slightly different.
yeah.
But the
Food is
Yeah.
different, but like every other culture has that like open air market, like full on like, hey, what are we doing? It's just food. But wait, what are we doing beyond food? You don't need anything else. You just need the food.
Yeah,
We're
like-
fine.
Food is the important part.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of different things that you're seeing all around here. There's open courts where folks seem to be. There's a few different mages who seem like they're trying to get various like stone orbs through hoops on each end. There's a couple of other open courts where it looks like there's a bigger open, almost like stone of spider silk web net between two poles, and there's teams of 6 who are trying to like mage hand various like this one singular white and black rock, and they're trying to bat them forth, and then when that fails, the ones who are burlier and like more brawny are just straight up trying to kick it into each other's nets. There's like live music that's happening here. You're seeing folks who are offering various kinds of sewn and woven crafts. There are folks who look like they're offering various embellished sort of other kinds of textiles and clothing and such. Yes, Green Rex. There are also, for the meta level, there are people playing TTRPGs here. They are playing their own role-playing games here. We're gonna add that in. Like you're seeing performances where people are like, and then in the end, he managed to triumph over a dragon. It's like, but did they ask the dragon what he wanted? Is like, well, no. And it's, well, then didn't they just piss off a dragon for no reason? And it's like,
Oh, let's not forget the can I seduce the dragon?
oh no.
Samael, we've
Yes.
told you about this 13 times. Can't seduce the dragon. They're not interested.
Do you
They're
mean?
not interested. You understand that that's a no.
Okay.
Playing the lesser known games, Kobolds and Catacombs.
Oh my
Actually,
god.
there are small little dragonkin folk who are doing like acrobatic performances and doing like flips and juggling and such. There's a few goblin folks who are some of the most expert weavers you've ever seen playing around with spider silk and dyeing it in the midst of using magic to like weave it, dye it, and then produce a fine work. And there's an occasional salesperson who's just like, hello there. Would you like to try one of my potions? I just finished
Potion
making-"
seller?
Yes. Potion seller. Would you like to try one of mine? I have an accomplice. His name's Snur. He's added just a little bit of his own wild magic to it. Would you care to try one of my potions? They're free. It only lasts for an hour.
Yeah, I think darts or the equivalent of football. I mean soccer. I mean soccer and football.
Yeah. No, it's just straight up. This is all happening. The revelry kicks in. Wherever folks go, you find there's crowds of people. There's folks who are engaging in this, and the various emissaries from the planes you've seen so far are all there in different capacities. There's even more Fae who show up at different moments. There are more beings of wind, fire, and also of water and such. You see very beautiful, very feminine like spirits of like a living waterfall just sort of wandering around. throughout the stalls, and like someone tries to do the whole like leering at her thing, and then like three other people are just like, no. And then you just see like a soft, like a very clear, like, I was trying to compliment them sort of excuse. And then you just see like three giant kin just show up behind them. And you're just like, it's like, don't make us tell you again. It's like, I'm sorry, I will learn to respect her much better. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And they wander away.
Nice.
And there's just that whole vibe carries on for pretty much the whole day.
So are several people heading for tournaments or?
I think I kind of want to go for a tournament.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm heading to get a fight started.
Yeah, God, are we all just gonna go be murder?
Yeah.
I think we're gonna avoid that.
Farron will go to watch at first.
And then we'll go show off later.
Yeah. For now, it's just like a basic, maybe like an archery tournament, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or perhaps like a staff
Wow,
tournament.
that was like a full stand to attention at that moment.
Is this how we meet? I think this is how we meet.
Oh, definitely.
I think there's a sense where like you're all arriving right at this moment for the archery tournament, and then you just see this very short, very timid voice, like little elf, like possibly of like partial goblin heritage and also partially elven heritage, just sort of goes, I'm sorry, everybody. Like they're just like everyone else is like mostly 4 foot or taller. There's some like of gnomish and more like hobbit-esque kind of like heights and such, but this person seems very short. They're just like, hello there, everyone. I'm sorry, but I will. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I will have to suspend the tournament just for a little bit. The performances are up above are about to start, and if y'all don't mind, I promise they'll be back. And you hear like this outpour of yelling. It's just like loud boos and like sounds coming, and they're just like, okay, I'm sorry about this. It's not me. Please tell my manager. I'm just working.
Yeah, Farron's like,
I'm turning
booing or-
around. I'm literally turning around, so I see who's like booing. I'm just start swearing at them. How dare you offend this precious little being?
Yeah, Farron, like I was wondering if Farron was there, but also I feel like if Nim were to see this, they'd just look around and they're not 5 feet tall as much as they say they are. And would just kind of yell, "Hey, it's just an announcement. Cool it."
I would like you, Nim, to roll me a d20 to see what level of impact is. There will be impact, but what kind of impact we will determine, because I think this is both interesting and also potential for hilarity.
Can't believe we're all gonna die. Session 1.
Okay. So what is the result?
Total is 9.
Okay,
Ooh.
so tough choice. So it will succeed. You do manage to cow the crowd just a little bit. Well, actually significantly. I'm going to give you a choice. Do you have something with one of the vendors being mad at you about something? Or do you have something related to one of the festival goers being mad at you? I'm not going to tell you plane they're from, anything like that. Just who would you like to be mad in this? Who's going to remember that you responded this way?
I'm gonna go with festival goer. That seems more dangerous.
Oh, I already care for this.
Don't you love us? Don't you love having us as players?
This is fully chaos mode, and I am all for it.
Hi, I'm chaotic, natural one.
Actually, Jace, if you stick around, they'll be back
Nope.
in a second. But, so, most of the crowd seems to cow down a bit, and then you just kind of hear this sound of just like bubbling, like bubbling magma.
Oh boy.
Oops.
And the big, like, crystalline volcanic, what you imagine as bodyguard to the fire emissary sort of appears. And I'm gonna state right now they're about like 8.5 feet tall.
So they're almost double my height.
Yep. Just like the hands don't, and at this moment the hands, they don't quite seem to be fully a hand shape. They're just sort of like roiling, and then they just sort of point towards you and like form like a full-on like hand with a pointing finger, and then they just do one of these where like they direct their finger to their temple, and they're just like, I'm gonna remember you.
Farron's just standing there looking up like,
Nim or Farron?
or Nim, yeah. Oh, that's right. Farron is there. I was very confused. Yeah, Nim's just standing there staring up at this giant piece of magma and crystal going, hi to you too.
Never gonna make it out of that first city. Never gonna make it out of that first city.
Nim has no idea what they're doing here.
Do I see this going on?
Yeah. This is like Farron's seen this because Farron responded. How has seen this because she has like probably was initially one of those people booing, I'm gonna assume.
I'm gonna
do I
kind
have
of
that
like
right?
Yeah. You have the right suspicion. Yes. She has already had a couple drinks.
I'm gonna scoot over there like mint iced tea in hand. Just like sipping. I'm going to stand next to this mysterious Nim-like creature who is actually Nim. I just don't know their name yet. Fold my arms and look calmly up at this mysterious bodyguard thing and do the exact same gesture.
Roll me a d20 at advantage.
Okay.
I kind of want to. I want to see. I want to see what comes of this.
Oh, that's a 10. The other one was a 3, so it's not a 3, but it's a 10. Tough choice. Love a tough choice.
So,
did I just insult him by accident? I think I did.
Do you want something? Do you want an interaction related to the guard or to the fire emissary?
I think it would be interesting if the fire emissary took an insult to his guard as an insult to himself.
She appears. She, this, her skin at a moment becoming pale white, almost like a snowy white sort of color to her skin, and then erupting into sort of then switching back into like a yellow and then reddish sort of tint. She says, I will remember this day.
I certainly hope you will.
You have insulted me.
If you didn't
It's
remember
like,
this
no,
day,
wait.
if you didn't remember this day, I would be rather concerned and may refer you to seeing an apothecary for memory loss.
She can't actually take physical burn damage, but I'm gonna count that as burn damage.
Psychic
Oh
damage.
God, Gif Nova. She's seething with rage, which is appropriate. Yes, you dealt psychic
Perhaps.
damage. That's appropriate.
I just continue on to say, perhaps your guards would do well to remember that a game is a game, and the announcer is simply the messenger.
Fair enough. You have
Always a
courage.
pleasure.
And you see these 7 dwarven individuals like stand at attention, who have all been standing at attention behind her, like warhammers all raised.
Jesus.
And then she's just sort of like chuckles to herself, and there's almost like the look of like, you know what, I respect you. Carry on. And just all of them just sort of just lower the hammer slowly. Their hair just a literal living flame that was like going, we're talking like full like Super Saiyan 3 levels of like flame in the head.
Is it like Hades?
I was gonna
from
ask
that
if it was
weird
like-
Yeah,
Hercules
it's like
movie?
Hades. It's full
I was
on
gonna
like
ask if it was like
Hades.
Miyazaki, like Studio Ghibli level. No, okay, even
No, we're
more.
at full Hades rage mode
Okay.
hair.
I'm gonna glance like down to my side. You okay?
Are they still there? Is like everybody still?
No, that everyone's moved on because you hear them
Because that does change my answer there. Oh boy.
casting thunderous word to hit all of them at once.
Yeah, I
I
was
look
like,
down, just
trying-
like too much.
No, I'm used to getting in trouble in cities. It seems to be a thing. Thank you.
This is my first city of this size. I'm sure I'll regret that later. Serena.
Speaking from personal experience, probably.
And your name?
Oh, Nimian. You can call me Nim. What was your name again?
Serena. Nice to meet you, Nim.
Nice to meet you, Serena.
Or sorry, if I'm going to go with full on, well met.
With that being the case, and with Farron and Hal probably being next to one another at this point, just having seen this interaction.
I did roll to check whether Farron would do this, and he is not. They are not smart. They probably punched the person they were arguing with.
You knocked them out clean.
I was still eating the kebab, and when the Farron knocks someone out, I'm like, oh shit. And I just kind of go over and I'm like, that was a good hit. Big buff elf.
So how tall is How?
6'2".
So half a foot taller than me.
Yep.
To know.
So, yep. Towering lady.
We just the size disparity in this group is amazing.
I'll just look up.
I'm
and
like
just
a solid 5'6". It's gonna be great, guys.
Or 9-ish.
There we go.
Okay,
5 foot on a good day.
5 foot on a good day. That's good.
5 foot when I have a shield on my back and it's hoisted up.
Yes.
Oh, if we're including like staff heights, then in that case, it's a good 6.
There we go.
Full Gandalf the White staff of unnecessary length.
Yes.
Staff
You
of
know,
That needs to
call
be a
me
magic
out,
item.
sure.
Oh,
That
I'm
needs to
making
be a
a
magic
magic
item
item.
is
I'm
staff
making-
of unnecessary length.
It turns into a vaulting pole when needed.
Okay.
okay.
Okay, cats herding cats.
Yes.
So
Sorry.
It's right at this moment where you hear an announcement, a familiar, charming voice. And now we are all going to get ready and get ourselves all bustled together for a wonderful little performance, everyone. Denizens of the plains, of dreams, of the elements, of nightmares, of the fae, of all of you wonderful people, all of you delightful, gorgeous people. Come on by, and we will be happy to entertain you with avian acrobatic feats of amazingness. And that, with that announcement, is where we're going to take our break.
Oh my God. This
Yay.
is so long. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wait
that's
for a
why I'm
minute.
taking the break now, because more things can happen, and I want to make sure we get the break in for my sake and for the player's sake. But we will be
That's right,
on
we're
for about
promised.
10 minutes, everyone, and then we'll be back as avian acrobatic performance is about to go on, and our party has just met each other after some curious encounters with beings of mysterious repute.
Awesome. Yay.
So
See you
we'll see you in
soon.
10. So our producer will let us know when we're heading out, but
Yes.
see you in 10, everybody. So
See you
Take
all
care.
later.
we will now do the awkward hand-waving thing until you're out. tuning in, you're in the sort of second half, last third of the inaugural session of Plains of Providence, where our group has just met after dealing with a rather curt magma being and an emissary from the plane of fire who is not in any way related to a certain maiden of white snowy skin and all of that. Also, yes, cat.
Yeah, he wanted to come in 5 minutes. I want to go out again. You know,
the joys of a cat. But so, our group has assembled in one of the main courtyards and open squares where various denizens of all of the plains that they've seen, and perhaps a few they haven't, have gathered to take note of an aerial display. As you see this resplendently dressed man, very deep brown, such warm skin, the most inviting and charming of smiles, robes and long coat of like flowing magenta and lavender sort of tones to them, a little bit of a resplendent sense of just jewelry and gold, lovely eye makeup, just beautiful, the most dandy and beautiful of men you perhaps have ever seen, with a charm, a smile that could win over 1,000 hearts.
on mine.
He stands there, arms raised, and he says, "Welcome one and all to our avian acrobatic display. Gaze upon the sky and take note of the wondrous people who are here, and those who have trained for many years riding our esteemed and blessed mounts of Chantico, mounts said to have been praised and held in reverence by the very warden of strength and courage themselves," and sort of gestures their hand in the direction of the massive statue that forms one of the northern monuments in the city and region as a whole. And you watch as 4 massive condors appear, flying through the skies. Just acrobatic displays where you see them just doing circles up and around. And then there's moments where the riders, all 4, you see one who's goblin, one of small dragonkin descent, a very quite lithed giantkin, and one very attractive man who's very nice, cropped sort of short brown hair with sort of tints of purple and blue within it, and just seems to reach a point where there's an apex where it's flying in the center of a 3-point that's being made, where if you look up, it's like the outline of a triangle being made. And then as he drops from his avian mount and he begins to fly down towards the air, not riding anything, about to almost hit the ground, when you see all 3 of his companions just dash by and do loops around him as he's falling, and his mount catches him and he does another full circle, and then he lands on the ground, perfectly poised, absolutely dashing, and this almost cocky sort of expression on his face.
That's it. I'm gone. I gotta go.
Farron.exe is suddenly stopped working.
And this display begins once again, and you see each of them. One begins to create a circle of fire, another one begins to create a small little wisp of clouds and air and storm light and storm energy. Another one creates a circle of rock. And then another one seems to summon from their hands and bends, all 3 using an orb of water that forms an insignia that matches what you've seen at a few different points across the city, an insignia of a fist that seems to be holding a lightning bolt that holds up, that seems to be praised up, that stands as a mark of strength and of reverence for the warden. of strength and courage known as a bira. And as this display is about to go into full effect, you also start hearing something else. You start hearing shouting from amongst the crowd.
Uh-oh. Panicked shouting?
It's just a few like raised voices at first. And then there's yelling. And then there's screaming.
Yep, there it is.
Oh.
I'm looking at Nim and I'm like, shall we?
I think this is the fastest I'm gonna get kicked out of a city ever. Okay.
And you watch as amidst the crowd, you start seeing little trails of fire. A small childlike humanoid just starts dancing amidst all of the crowds and starting to set things ablaze. And following that, you hear from another section of the crowd, there is screaming as though people are terrified of something that's appeared nearby. They can't seem to see, you don't see anything at this moment, but it's like a dark shadow is passing underneath all of them and moving between them, and they are all being terrified.
I think that as a person, first of all, the kebab that I have in my hand, I throw it away. I toss it to the side.
Kebab for like 2 hours. It's
yes,
just
it has
more
been.
Meat onto it.
Yep. Yes, it has been. And so I throw it to the side, and I just you see me take sort of an opposing like stance, and I start getting random people like, get off the square, like let's go, and I just start like ushering them towards like other places, and I start ushering them towards like the little stalls and have them hide or whatever. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. I mean, I know everyone's terrified, and I know that means danger. So
the how is trying to get people out. Sharon.
Yep.
I want to try and find a vantage point.
Okay, you could probably try and climb up onto the top of one of the stalls and just try and see what's going on around the whole area.
We will try and do that.
Yes, so try and climb and we'll see what happens. So roll a d20, tell me, we'll see if there's any complications that arise in this.
14?
That's a success. You managed to climb up, and you are the first one to spot that all 4 riders in the air are also starting to lose it. And they're starting to careen downwards. 3 of them are fine, but the last one, the very cocksure individual, is falling, and his mount seems disoriented.
Can I see anything that could be controlling this?
You just see the 4 of them being freaked out, the 4 mounts, but you and Hao at the same time spot folks have just been sort of running scared, but with Hao having corralled some of the people away, you see the same dark, shadowy presence that Hao saw earlier when she arrived in the city. Nim, Serena, what are you doing?
Do we also see this guy falling?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna do something I'm gonna regret.
My favorite statement for a player to make.
Right?
Also, the double head to the ground is amazing.
that was good.
So tell me if I'm using this correctly. From what I understand, one of my abilities is animal form, in which I can choose a creature that is no smaller than a mouse and no larger than a horse.
Okay.
Does a Pegasus fit under that category?
I would count that. I'd say that's fine.
Okay. I would like to spend 2 adventure points, is it?
Ability points.
Ability points, that's close. To turn into a Pegasus and then fly up to catch the guy in the who's falling.
Okay. You spend the points. Just magnificent wings and what have you.
Also, before I do that, I turned to Glim and I'm like, don't freak out. I just like turned to Pegasus and fly away.
It's okay. I'm sorry. Please don't freak out. I have to go save someone.
Just like, I'm just like, I'll be right back. Don't freak out.
It's
I
just
would
really,
like
I
to...
don't, you reminded me of Swiftwind from She-Ra for a second.
And I've been called out. Cool. I've been called out.
Sorry.
So yeah,
all is well.
no, it's totally fine. I basically like bump myself, like, it's gonna sound horrible, like bump myself in between his legs and be like, I just like flap. And if I can slow the descent of his mount too, I will.
Yeah, I'll say you spent the ability points to become something. You know how fast you can go. You are able to just catch him.
Okay.
And him.
And I will,
What? You said there's some type of shadow creature? Is that just
Yeah.
shadows on the... Okay.
It looks like just shadows on the ground, but, and that's what Farron and how I've seen it, they've been trying to, they're in the middle of doing stuff, so they catch just a shadow, but you, because you are the only one so far who hasn't been distracted, you see emerging out of it, out of the shadow, is this kind of bestial creature, quadrupedal, incredibly muscular, long red forked tongue, spines all across the top of its head that's just growling and just like roaring at you, and it does not look friendly. And you're also noticing that joining this creature is another one of these little magma children creatures.
Looking around, does it look like someone's casting a spell? Like, since the I forget who they were, the people that we pissed off.
oh,
did
the
they
fire
look-
emissaries.
Yeah.
No, that you don't see anybody. But you do see that these creatures are coming towards you, and it looks like they're coming towards your fellow party members.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna have to track my ability points. So they're not casting a spell.
No. Right now they're not doing anything.
I can do two things. Is that the deal, or one thing and move?
Yep, one thing in movement is the way it works. So you're basically just tell me what thing you want to try and accomplish, because right after you finish your thing, we're going to be getting into what's called an action scene, which for this instance is going to be your first combat for this season.
Oh boy!
Yay!
So
then other question: is there a source? These things are shadowy.
One is shadowy. The one creature you're seeing is shadowy, and you see that and a little magma child creature. You don't see anything else yet, but that if you could take the time to try and look, and I give you the D20 roll to see if you spot anything, and whether or not there's any complications that come with trying to spot something, or you can try and cast something. You get one or the other. You get to try and do some action, or you can try and look around.
I'm just gonna burn the, I think it's one. I'm gonna burn an ability point for Divine Avenger to set my hammer on purple fire mode. And then just hold that out and be like, hey, ugly, and then run the other way.
Oh my God.
And with that statement, we are fully blown into... Oh, God.
She can't even talk.
It's not that. It's GIF Nova typing in the chat. Okay, Google, search for how to ban someone from a show for too many puns and make it look like an accident.
Oh, my God.
Also, Jace, Purple Flame, God damn it. It's lesser known Prince tip, my motherfucker. So with that being the case, we are full on into an action scene of combat. The way this works in the system, you all get a turn. You get an action and a movement. Right now, there's essentially 4 distance categories: immediate, nearby, in range, and what we can just colloquially call too fucking far to matter. Right now, these things are nearby, so they're 1 distance category away. So if you want to do melee, you'll have to run up to them. But I'll say Serena, yeah, pretty much everyone is they're 1 distance category away. So any melee folks who want to like get into a brawl, you'll have to use your movement to get to them. And also, because this is a festival and this is something I'm porting over from Ryutama, I'm going to let you all each just decide 1 item that's just around the area, because this is festival grounds, that if you want to try and do something with it, or that you think could provide cover if folks decide to take that action, or it just might be like, hey, I don't have anything to hit this thing with, or like I lost my sword or my word hammer. Can I like chuck a barrel of like frying oil at them? Like, I'm going to tell you right now that's a valid course of action, but everyone gets a chance to decide 1 thing that's currently within range that you could interact with. So whoever wants to take the initiative on that. But then after that, it's just a matter of you can build off of each other's actions, and you just decide amongst yourselves who goes first and who does what, because combat is now.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
I will take, can I ask the gods for a fountain?
Yes. Yes, there is. It looks as though one of the Naiad spirits nearby seemed to have actually conjured a makeshift fountain out of their own innate magic nearby. So there is a fountain of water nearby.
So I'm going to yell, hey, ugly, and run towards that.
Okay.
Is there, how far, real quick, let's do a quick who's where. We've got a couple of demon children, a shadow thing. What else?
You have one fire child,
Okay.
and 1 shadow beast. You don't see anything else. There could be other things, but no one has taken the time to look because you've all been in the middle of saving somebody or getting into positions or getting people out of the way. So
Okay.
you don't know if there's anything else, but right now the 2 big threats, you have a big creature, a big shadow creature, because this thing is bigger than a horse.
Okay.
It's a big boy.
So my new friend and I are gonna go fight the big shadow creature.
Okay.
Assuming he wants to stay on my back. If he wants to jump off, that is fine with me. But I think we make an excellent pair.
He's scared. I believe the academic term is shitless right now.
Oh,
as a
I
note.
see.
He didn't sign on for things. He signed on for daring, not deadly.
Is his mount anywhere nearby?
His mount is flying around. It looks like it could come and pick him up soon.
Okay. I'm going to like rear up just enough to get him off. And is Glim in the, or not Glim, Nim in the path to the Shadow Beast thing?
The Shadow Beast is 1 distance category away. They're nearby to Nim. So the creature would need to move at least 1 category in order to get the Nim. And Nim hasn't had a turn, so if Nim wanted to keep running to put some distance between the creature and themselves, they could.
Okay. I asked because I wanted to figure out if it's possible to like run by Nim on my way to the Shadow Beast so they can grab on.
Yeah, you could.
Okay. I will run by them on the way to the Shadow Beast so I can give them the opportunity to grab on. And then I'm going to rear up and hit the Shadow Beast with my hooves. And so let's see how this goes.
Let's see how this goes.
We're going to use the white sparkly die.
The sparkle die.
I shouldn't have used the white sparkly die. 3.
Okay, a 3. Not off to a great start. That is a failure. So you aren't able to deal damage to it, and there is a setback. So if anyone wants to chime in with ideas as to how this does not go well, my initial thoughts are something happens to Nim, or something happens to someone else nearby.
Do I trample someone?
Do I trample someone back?
I'm not saying any more details other than that.
Maybe not.
I think
trample. Maybe just.
I think it would be interesting if someone else were to get hurt, just for that guilt factor.
Yes, someone gets in the way of the hooves and gets clobbered.
Yeah. I'm gonna regret saying that. I'm gonna regret everything I'm doing right now, but it's fine.
Yes, you probably are, because
Hashtag play to find out what happens.
yeah, kind of. You do manage to get Nim on your back, so you just while you try and lash out.
Oh,
Damn it, Nova! I swear to God, we're not gonna stop
Nim is
forcing
not Nim is not climbing up though.
this. Okay.
Cool.
They're not.
So you start heading in that direction, but Nim seems like they're giving the air is giving the indication they're not going to join. And you try and lash out with your hooves, but in the middle of that, Gilmore has been trying to get people out of the area. And he looks as though he turns around like he's going to try and cast something to get people out. And then your hooves just clock him right in the face.
ooh.
Not the teeth.
Oh, it's in the teeth.
I bet you got a kick out of that.
God damn it. You all need to stop.
Let's all stop putting the cart before the horse.
You know what?
Someone take a turn now. Take a turn now.
I'm just gonna bolt.
For the love of various gods, please.
Okay, big shadowy beast, yeah?
Shadow Beast.
Because even in dangerous situations, I am cocky as all get out. I'm just gonna shoot at it. I'm gonna use far shot to make sure I can definitely hit it.
Okay.
So that's another adventure point gone. Or ability
Oh,
point.
right, because you're pretty far away from this creature at this point.
Yeah. So I can definitely hit it now. And I'm gonna, as I'm pulling this shot, I'm basically gonna backflip down behind this stool. Because we're nothing if not cocky and a show off.
We're going full Hawkeye and Green Arrow in our
are.
shooting style.
18. The dice gods like me today.
Okay.
You want to trade?
I fucked up.
So if you were moving, the creature would be for Farron 2 distance categories away. If you're choosing to move down and away from it, it's 2 distance categories away from you. It's 1 away from Nim right now, and it's 1 away from How, and Serena unfortunately is right next to it.
Sorry.
What am I taking?
No, it's not their turn yet. I'm just giving folks a refresher as to where they're at in the field. It's also for my benefit too, because I have to visualize this because there's no real like map. It's just sort of like there's no like set feet of movement. It's just immediate, nearby, in range, too far.
Love to be conveniently close to the angry shadow beast.
If you wanted to hit it, you had to be in immediate range for melee. That's the problem. So
I have an idea.
Nim and How, you're up.
Mm-hmm.
Does it look like it's going after Sharon?
It looks pissed.
Okay.
That's about all you can tell right now.
In that case, I want to move away from Serena so that I'm kind of strafing around one side, still trying to keep my back to the fountain, and I am going to burn 2 more AP on Thunderous Word. And Glowing Hammer, I'm just going to look over because my god so loves me for this, for my choice of words for spells that are not appropriate. Would just kind of look back and be like, hey, put out or sit down, and Thunderous Word both the shadow creature and the child.
Oh, right, because it hits both of them. It hits whatever's
That's
over there.
why I moved, because I didn't want to hit Serena. So
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
you could do that. I'd say you'd be
Yeah.
able to position to avoid doing that.
Although at this point, like Serena would just be like, "Yeah, it's fair."
I
No,
deserve
Nim's not hitting. Nim's hitting
I figured.
the other two for, I think it's 2 damage, and they are knocked backward.
Yeah, they are knocked backward. I'm pulling the ability up real quick.
Yeah, you speak a word of power, releasing a thunderous shockwave in the direction you are facing. The wave knocks up to 3 creatures backward and hits them for 2 damage. Creatures affected by this spell are briefly dazed and cannot use special abilities during their next turn.
Which is good. That is very good. Because
Amazing.
that shadow creature is about to do something.
No,
Thank you.
no.
I think your god would approve, Nim. You met her
Sorry,
earlier today.
Flank you.
Hal, what are you doing?
So, okay. I've been ushering people out of the square, and so my back has been turned to this creature for most of the time. And so now I turn around and I see this massive creature. And I saw that Farron did like shoot it, and it became very angry. The monster became very angry. And so I take out my helmet, which is like this, because my whole armor is like silver and it has like all kinds of filigree on it. And so the helmet is kind of like a knight's helmet, but it doesn't really have like a face guard. It just has like this kind of like diamond shape cut out of it. And so she kind of like tilts forward to put her hair in it, and then she like puts it on. And she has her fingerless gloves, and she like starts cracking them. And she's gonna at that moment she's gonna like pull, like getting closer to this beast, like in melee range. And she's gonna like stand in front of it and be like, "You ruined the fun, big guy." And she's gonna like punch the hell out of it. Which, with my technique ability,
It will do 2
my
damage instead
it
of
will
the
do
1.
2 damage. Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to roll to see if you can hit with that first. So let's see what happens.
I will roll the fiery dice.
This seems appropriate as you are fighting a fire creature and the big creature.
Oh no, it fell.
That's not a good sign.
Uh-oh. It's a
What?
9.
So it succeeds.
That's awesome.
There is a cost, though.
Yep.
Would you like something to your equipment to happen? Or would you like something to your movement to happen?
Oh God. I guess my movement is fine. I want to stay up close anyway.
You watch as whole aspects of the shadow creature's body, like its shadow extends out because your fist just lands and decks it right in the face. And it's like you start feeling this prying force in your head. And you recall a moment of a beast in your past that you failed to deal with. And there's a level of fear that overtakes you that you find yourself unable to move. For the next round, you can't move. But all the while, Hao is experiencing that sensation, that memory. It's like this creature is like, now that you're close to it, is able to actually feed on your memories.
So Serena would like see this happening, and then also how just like at her chest, just like kind of grabbing at it. That's it.
The fire, it is now the enemy creature's turns. The shadow beast is going to, it looks for a moment like it doesn't do anything, and then it's like whole tendrils of shadow become attached to its long extended claws, and it's going to rake out and try and attack Hao twice. This one has 2 attacks.
What
'Cause
does
it's the-
dazed mean?
Dazed essentially, I think dazed essentially means that it can't do any of its abilities.
Yeah,
Like,
it can't
it's
do
not
any
doing its
special
abilities.
abilities. It's just hitting things.
Yeah, it's just trying to hit whatever it can.
I
Because
cast
it was,
sword.
yes, you cast
Pretty
sword.
much.
Yes.
Yeah, it was going to chase after Farron, but it can't use that ability because its features are turned off. So it has to hit what's next to it, which
Nice.
is
That'll be us.
Yep.
So that is,
Well, you, but
well, you wanted to fight this thing.
oh no.
Oh
Did you
god.
roll a
Natural
20?
20 and a 19.
Wow. So
Oh my god.
So the
That's
creature,
like all of your hit points.
that's the creature reaches out with his claw, and the first hit, it does 2 points of damage to you, Hal. But now that it's like right up to you, you don't feel it like biting into your body. It feels like this presence is going into your head, and it's like eating. It feels like this a sensation of someone trying to eat at your memories, and you take total for all of that 6 points of damage.
oh my god.
That's more than half.
Yep. And the other fire child, it sees that there is a flying threat nearby. It does not seem as focused as on the buff elf individual as its companion does, but it does see a flying horse, and it
that's
wants
me.
to cause barbecue. So you watch.
Ew.
It spits into its hand, and it essentially creates a mini little fireball, and it tries to chuck fire spit at you.
That is revolting.
Like
And
literally spitballing.
it is literally spitballing.
Come on now.
Ew. Gross.
That is a 16.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
it goes. It's a little pathetic little like noise. And you take 2 points of fire damage, but that applies to your shape-shifting form
My
first.
yeah. Perfect. Good to know. Y'all smell burning feathers.
Chicken?
Smells like chicken. Yeah.
Hey.
Hitting straight fire. God damn it.
Oh
That was
goodness.
fun.
Chat is
But-
giving me an existential crisis.
That sounds actually par for the course. This is what you've done, chat. Look what you've done. Now, top of the round happens again. As a reminder, setup is How can't move and is stuck next to this shadowy creature. The little fire rock child seems to be
Spitfire.
trying to focus. Yes, the Spitfire. Yes, the literal small Spitfire is trying to deal with the horse, and Nim and Farron have backed up towards the waterfall, trying to coax them. Thankfully, the small fire child can't do anything else. It couldn't use any of its other abilities. And it seems as though, Nim, you noticed when the creature tried to hawk the fire spit at your horse friend, it looked as though she was almost going to be set entirely on fire, but it didn't have the strength to do it. Almost like your thunderous word prevented it from igniting a creature that it attacks. Yeah, these things set things on fire when you hit them. They're a literal entity of fire.
Nice.
These
Oops.
are kind of dangerous. Whoopsie.
Oh my.
Okay. How much would it cause? How close am I to the fountain at this point?
You're right next to it.
I'm right next to it.
Yep.
All right.
Oh.
I like that
I
sound.
wanna-
Sound of ingenuity.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
then and big nasty giant thing is still attacking my other pretty armored friend.
Yes. Your other pretty armored friend is currently really hurt.
Yeah. I don't think I can do anything about that just yet.
Figure out something. There's still open slots. I'm putting it out. There's 4 slots folks can at any time during combat use for things. We had a waterfall was one. If you want to come up with something else, you can. Oh, we've had a waterfall on stand. So there's 2 other things. If you want to come up with something you think you can chuck to try and get its attention at the shadow creature.
Actually, can I run up to How?
You would be 1 distance category too far because you backed up more than How did. How walked or ran away from you, and you ran a category away. So you'd be nearby, but you wouldn't be in range to do anything melee based, unfortunately.
That's okay. I'll just burn through my AP, I guess.
They're there to be used.
I'm gonna have none of that by the end of this. I am going to see, what do I want to do?
Also, Farron, Serena, how do you have any other ideas as well?
Yeah,
I do. I do have ideas.
I have ideas, but I think I'm going to. I don't think I can get into position quite for what I want to do. Okay. So if someone else wants to go right ahead.
Yeah, just build off.
I have a fun idea.
Okay, Serena.
I would like to bend down, grab this little Spitfire in my teeth, and drop it into the water fountain.
You could probably try and chuck it into the water fountain. Roll d20 and see how successful it is.
I would like to please. I would like to roll to yeet. So we're gonna use the water die. We're not gonna use the water die.
Glass taking off that will happen.
Yeah. It's a 7, so I do it.
You do it, but something will happen. Okay.
Did I burn my mouth? Take more damage?
So here's the thing. This thing has an ability called explosion, where when it's destroyed, it blows up in an area around it.
Whoops.
So you can have it be something more deadly happens to you, or something happens in the fountain that affects other people.
I think something more deadly happens to me. I think it's the price that I can pay for that little hubris right there.
So you go and do it, and you chuck it. The creature
slow motion, head over heels.
It's disintegrated, but the force of the water that jettisons back, it seems as though when you hit Gilmore earlier, it was not enough to knock him out, but it hurt him quite a lot. He casts an arcane ward of some kind, and he repels the water, but in him doing so, the water just gushes out and knocks you out of the air into the ground. You're going to take 2 points of damage.
All right.
Along with that, to account for the fact that I wouldn't have done any damage on this, but you chose to take it, so it's going to do the 2 damage to you. But it's just a
and then splat.
Yep.
I love the sound effects.
Right.
So,
but the good news is, I did it. I killed one.
One is down. Now there's another creature who currently has your very buff elf friend.
Yes.
Farron.
I'm gonna hopefully get within range after running back, and I'm gonna unleash another arrow, and I am going to deadeye it.
So
that is automatic triumph, and because instead I can disable a limb, which I can pick. So that claw that's swiped down, I just want to ram that arrow straight in the shoulder joint. So there's just so much limited movement.
And because it's a triumph, it does twice the usual damage, so that's 4 damage to it.
Oh shit!
So it has, it's looking quite hurt right now. But in the creature, I'm going to say as part of that, because you spent the ability, it has the other effect because it's disabled. It can't hold How down. So How could move on her turn as well. So right now, Nim and How, you're the only two left. This creature is looking quite hurt.
Awesome. So I kind of like, I want to like stand up and instead of like having my fists out, I just like grab behind me and this huge sword, like let's say like Cloud Final Fantasy, just kind of sword.
So we have a Buster Sword.
Yes, but it's very much a, let's say,
Just do Claymore, then you get the cool hilt.
Oh, that's true. You get the really awesome.
It's big,
Yeah.
but also you have a really nice hilt.
This is true, but also it's like a great sword, so it's like
Yeah.
It's like,
have you ever seen a Claymore?
Claymores are
Seven
huge.
Yep. So
Claymores are real life Buster swords.
Yep. So
Would
it's
you
like
a Buster Sword?
it's got a beautiful indeed like hilt. Like it looks like grapevines, you know?
Ooh.
Like it's got that, and that's where the blade is resting into. And it's like a huge silver blade that is just like a little curved, like an arrow at the top.
Oh, so the point, the tip point, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
Kinda.
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna try and swing at it?
Yes, very much.
All right, so roll that d20. Let's see how this turns out.
Okay.
Please try to roll it on your desk this time instead of on the floor.
Please, come on.
Just like we're all going to be in a minute.
A 19.
That's a success. So the creature is just still howling and yelling this like super unpleasant, horrifying sound. Just
Amazing.
and right as it opens and the mouth does one of those, if anyone's ever seen the live action Mummy from the 90s,
Yes,
one
I
of those
have.
like
Oh
big
my
open
God.
mouth things, it starts wanting to do one of those. The sword, you just manage to pull it back and just like up to the roof of its mouth, and it's still alive, but
Lovely.
barely. It's like yowling in pain, and it does not like having a claymore stuck in its crawl.
Awesome.
And if you got anything, your call.
Oh, my turn?
Yeah, well, because you didn't. I don't think you did your turn, right?
No,
You were
I
waiting for other folks.
couldn't figure out what I wanted to do.
Yeah, so you see, this creature is very hurt.
I can't get up to it in one movement, though, right?
No.
So I've thrown hammers before. What's your rules for if I move and throw my hammer?
I would let that happen. That's
Okay.
enough.
So Nim is going to run back towards How and the beast, and is going to just not right behind How, because we're not trying to hit How. We want to hit the big shadowy thing, and just is going to do one of those. If you've ever seen the it's almost like axe throwing, except you have to like lean further back and hurl.
That's much cooler than me imagining the Thor like wind up great hammer throw. I think this is
No,
cooler.
I'm thinking actual warhammers weren't like huge. They were actually like usually
Compact.
only this big because they're solid chunks of metal, and they're just
throw the thing. So
Is
roll
it
the
still
d20.
is it still on fire?
yes,
It is still on fire.
I haven't dismissed it yet, so it is still on fire.
Until it's dismissed.
Yep.
So this will be a rather cinematic moment if this lands. So
cross my fingers.
Why would you use the word if? Why would you do that?
On.
hey, you see that? You see
That
those
is a 17.
That's a success.
So yay.
Here we
Also,
go.
it does an extra 1 damage. So I think weapons usually do 2.
They
So
usually
this
do
does
2.
3.
You didn't need it. And the creature, like, it unhinges, it like seems to like spit out the claymore, and it looks as though it starts to unhinge the jaw, like it wants to like bite all of Hao's head. That you just hear and it collapses to the ground.
Hell yeah. I just like turn around and I'm like, whose hammer was that?
Aaron's still standing there, like arm outstretched,
Or
like
Nim.
I would, or yeah, Nim's still. No, oh, I was thinking Farron because I was thinking Bo.
It's both. It just depends who you look at. Farron has the Deadeye shot, and Nim's had the like hammer throw of the gods, the literal hammer throw of the gods.
No, they're just looking around, but everybody else, Nim's just gonna be like, wasn't me.
Are you sure? That was a pretty good shot.
That was amazing. Someone just saved me.
It was.
And just walk up.
It was luck. It was just luck.
A very wet Pegasus walks up to you, Hal, and is like, nudge.
I just like, okay. I see a horse. I'm like, hello, horse.
It extends a wing and then turns into a hand as I drop the spell. Serena.
Howdian. You can call me How. You can all call me How. I see what you all did in this fight. That was very, very, very noble. Very good.
There was a fourth, wasn't there? The archer.
I'm standing right here.
You're standing 30 feet away.
Oh my god.
Oh, I love this. This dynamic is going to kill me. At the end of the
You gonna
season.
join us?
Amazing.
He starts mumbling to himself.
The
As
two of us are
Farron,
gonna have a shootout.
hell yeah. As
No,
Farron like
oh.
walks up, I'm like, I saw you before. You,
Yeah.
you
When
put a punch, you put a light out at someone. That was good.
I've done that to a bear before.
You've done that to a bear before?
Not any bear worth its shit then.
Exactly.
No, Nim's like, okay, before we start all being rude, what was that?
Good question.
Do any of us know what the heck that was?
Do we?
Honestly, very unlikely. The only that particular creature probably no. And same with the fire one. That probably is a little bit even out of Serena's like purview.
Love to have a
Well,
purview.
actually, How might have a sense of the fire creature.
Interesting.
They're known as magmakin. They're often just small little sentient manifestations of the realm of flame.
Interesting.
But from what you've all seen, most of these ones were under control. They're normally quite chaotic and quite destructive unless they're tamed and under control. And from what you're hearing nearby, there's still a lot of commotion happening. It doesn't look like anyone's in danger, but it looks as though what was screaming and yelling and what was a lot of chaos is now turning into loud voices and arguing with each other.
Oh, delicious.
Maybe we should go figure out what that is. Nim says as they're trying to make sure Gilmore's okay.
Oof.
Like, Gilmore's like, you worry too much, my delightfully handsome friend. It takes more than a simple flying horse to ruin this smile. And like does a big happy smile, and like the smile is still like it does the little like cliche like shine and gleam.
Oh God.
And it's like, and it's just like, it's like, but thank you very much for doing what you can. I am normally the facilitator of such delightful aerial feats and overall hospitality in this festival. I have never seen any of those creatures go as berserk as they did. I am rather keen myself in figuring out exactly what went down. Why don't
Yes,
we
am I.
all why don't we all just gather together and just go see what all of the fuss is about? I am certain with a smile and just a few level-headed words we'll be able to smooth this all out.
I guess so. How about we do find out? Do we head over to the group over there, or where do we go? You know this town, right?
Follow me, my delightful friends.
I'm just like, sorry. I promised I was aiming for the
Like looks how tall is Serena again? Is it 5.5 feet tall?
5'6",
right?
yeah.
Yeah, 5'6". Gilmore's just 6, about just 6 feet tall, and just sort of looks down and gives a bit of a wink and a smile. My dear, I've been hurt by far more dangerous things, but I must say that's the first time I've ever had a flying horse hit me right in the face. I am still impressed, nevertheless.
I'm just gonna lean down to Nim and just whilst looking at Gilmore go, is he on drugs?
Probably.
Nim's just looking over and going, I don't know. Weird things have been happening today. I can't tell whether he's on drugs or I'm on drugs or everybody's on drugs.
Well, if he is on something, I want some of it.
What did he put in his pop rocks, dude?
Heard about a good place we could
how chat is going full. They think it's Zap Brannigan.
Nim is gonna look at Farron and be like, I've heard about a place we can go later, but we should check that out. They say as they're just picking up their fiery hammer and hoisting it over their shoulder.
Okay.
So I'll just walk on behind, just going purple flame, purple flame.
Oh no, God. Okay.
And
there we go.
as you head on over, you see that all the hubbub and the commotion seems to be that the 4 main emissaries you've seen so far, the ones from the land of dreams, the ones from the land of flame, the ones from the plane of gales, and even some from the land of the fae, are all arguing with each other right now.
Oh,
as they all seem to be making accusations that someone from the other plane caused all of this because they've never seen their creatures in their own home planes act in that way. So they're all basically blaming each other. You're hearing the fire plane blame the Fey one because that little humanoid hand possum dog thing that Serena saw earlier, yeah, that seemed to have gone berserk somewhere else in the city. The little old person faced little pixie spirit things, yeah, those seem to have gone berserk somewhere else. Someone else is blaming, someone else is pointing to the fire emissary and saying that they just saw their firekin, their little magmakin, just start going berserk. Someone else points at the emissary of dreams and starts making accusations that they're here intentionally causing chaos in order to make their realm stronger.
Farron's just gonna look over, or Nim is gonna look at Farron and anyone else in the party that's near them and just go, so we're not telling them that we just killed those two, right?
Oh no.
Why not?
Oh well,
I mean, they were living beings. I didn't want you to die, but I also wouldn't have wanted to actually hurt anybody.
I mean, it's self-defense.
It is, but some might not see it that way.
if I die, I
What
die.
we-
That's kind of how nature works.
What we should do is see if we can get them all to simply talk to us. And I think I have an idea of how.
What?
We're going to want to get them to actually talk and not argue. And I think I may have an idea of how.
You're
Oh.
saying my name over and over.
Of the method by
gotta-
which we might use to do
Yes.
that.
With that last pun, with Serena proposing to the group that there might be something, she might have a plan for what the party might do to get this hubbub to calm down in the midst of one of the preliminary festivals, ringing in the rebirth of the divine bird Ignis. That is where I'm actually going to close the session for today.
Can I ask
Yes.
you one more thing?
Yes.
What I was going to do is just like stand up, project my voice, and yell, "Hey!"
That is where we will leave it off, as Serena, in the loudest way possible, has the attention of all the Fey Lords,
Uh-oh.
of the dream emissaries, the fire emissary, who has 7 dwarven and warhammer wielding individuals at attention, and the small sprite-like pixie beings from the plane of gales, made of storm energy, all have the attention on this group of 4 who've assembled here. 3 of them looking away, one of whom has drawn intense amounts of attention. And that is where we're going to officially close the inaugural session of Plains of Providence for today, everybody.
Yay!
No, hey.
Oh no.
Nay, I say.
Nay.
Nay. Gone. Oh no.
You know
Just
the
gonna
saying.
hide the fiery hammer behind my back, like I didn't do anything.
I have never been so excited to go check on a leak in my house. Like, I'm just like, oh, now I can get away from the puns.
Oh goodness.
So
Yeah, apparently
we-
something's leaking in the basement.
Gay. Someone in the chat is saying, gay, I say gay. I mean,
Yes,
Correct.
it's, yes.
that's the only
This is-
correct one.
Green Rex, I swear to God, if it's not you, it's going to be GIF Nova that destroys me.
Ooh.
Although the thought of the plan consisted of exactly 1 step, it's all hands up from here, is also amazing.
Yep.
So with that being said, everyone wants to go around. Again, say who you are, where we can find any of your work, if you have any upcoming projects. And yeah, just do that real quick as we do our thanks to folks for tuning in for the first session in this homebrew world that I've refashioned in a lot of different ways, specifically for this adventure. So yeah, whoever wants to go and take the lead. Who are you? What do you do? Where else can we find you?
Oh.
Sure. Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, okay. okay.
I'll go after you.
Okay. That's okay. Hi. It's me, your friend Inez, your new friend. I am now your friend, if you want to or not. So, hi. It is me, your friend Inez. I use she, her pronouns, and you can find me everywhere on the interwebs on @Inez666 or put an underscore behind it. They left the username open for me. So, you know what? Just go everywhere and search up that thing, and that's the thing. You'll find me most on Twitter, which is just basically my personal diary kind of thing where I talk politics and things that happen to me during the day, and then also sometimes I announce cool projects that I'm doing or whatever, so stay tuned to that. Pretty soon I'm going to be starting the streaming game again, so if you like variety streams where I do either makeup or I play games or I just sit and chat with you, then come by @Inez666. Follow me and you will see a whole new world. It's fine. Yep. Do I have anything else? Nope, that's it. I love you. That's what I have. I love you.
Well, it's gonna be tough to follow that one. Hi guys, I am Jen. This is actually the second game I've ever been lucky enough to stream, or rather streamed game that I've been lucky enough to be a part of. That's better, really. I can be found on Twitter at JenBirb, JIENBIRB. It's the picture of me hugging, face planting into a bear's butt. It's great. It's delightful. Other than here, I play every Saturday night on Plot Hunters. It's an all POC game. Saturday nights 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. EST. But mostly I just go to work and fix phones. That's my day job. This is the one of 5 games that I play over the course of a week. I'm a big TTRPG hoe. I play I play Quest now. I play Pathfinder on Tuesdays. I play 5e a couple times a week, and I play Blades in the Dark on Wednesdays. It's an amazing game. I love it. Nice to meet you all. Peace.
All right, next step. Jace,
Okay, I'll jump in. Hey everyone, I have been Jace, pronouns are they, them. You can find me basically everywhere on the internet at Ace Trainer Jace, usually on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok. Yes, I am a TikToker. Other projects coming up, I will be working with a couple of other TikTokers over on, when it launches, the Dead Bard Society channel, where we'll be doing probably mostly 5e games. I'm going to try and persuade everyone to do a quest game at some point as well, with probably me as the guide. That'll be a lot of fun, and it'll probably be streaming the West Marches game I'm currently running for them as well. So please come check that out when you can.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Hi, my name is Gibran, and I was playing Nim, and I kept forgetting names, but you can find me on Twitter at Sarah Ladra. It's SYRLAIDRE. And you can find me other places on the internet by my Twitter handle, I believe, as well. I am on TikTok. I don't remember what my username was there, but you can also find me on the Heroes Without Limits Discord server. And I do art commissions and props and cosplay, and when I'm not doing that, I'm being essential staff somewhere.
Alrighty. And as always, I am Angela, otherwise known in a lot of TTRPG circles as Phoenix, or Phoenix24Fem on Twitter, or the Phoenix Fem, or the Philosophem over on Patreon, where I am a professional writer and poet. If you are interested in supporting my work, which includes mostly poetry, but also articles and pieces as part of either work I've done in the past for Disability Rights Washington, you can find some of my pieces that have been published there as blog posts. If you're interested in hearing my voice with my partner on a relationship podcast, go check out Queerly Yours, which is 2 trans folk who are an interracial couple who are polyamorous who talk a lot about communication and why it actually solves a majority of the problems a lot of your relationship issues might be based around. No, really, actually, please fucking talk to your partners. Like, sincerely, it solves a lot of things. If you want to check out my over 130 poems on Patreon, come and support my work over there at the Philosophem, because I have a lot of stuff written over there. If you want to see me working to do writing pieces supporting BIMPOC futures and queer and disabled and trans folks liberation and dreaming, find my work over at Art for Ourselves, where I've been writing there for a few different years. And I think our summer equinox edition is going to be coming out real soon. And also I'm sometimes over on All Nerds here on Thursdays for their one shot short shot and potentially other projects soon. No more details on that one. That will be soon. And I'm trying to think, do I have anything else? I do a lot of things. I do a lot of things. No, I think that is everything. And obviously here on Mondays, where you can catch me for the next odd amount of weeks, helping this chaotic group of thirsty, sweet individuals navigate through this world that I've taken a lot of years and a lot of time to to respectfully build out and represent a lot of different things that I didn't see in fantasy, because there are a lot of other voices beyond just the usual European fantasy way of doing fantasy that deserve to be out there. So this is my attempt to bring a little bit more of that into our spaces. Plus, Quest is fun. And I think there's a lot of potential for folks to do some interesting stories with this. And if you want to see me do a murder mystery version of a one-shot in Quest, I'm going to be running a one-shot over on Utopia on Thursday. I believe it's, what is it, like 9 p.m. EST? I'd have to double check, but go check out Utopia too. They do amazing work, all PSE, a lot of queer PSE over there as well. But I believe that is me. Yeah, I think that is everything. And I believe we are going to head out now at that point. Thank you for all of you who tuned in, who are willing to give us the time and place to just share our various stories, for the different ways that we're presenting ourselves, our disabilities, and ways of being in the world. And I love all of you very much. I wish you all a fantastic week, and I'm sure our producer will let us out very soon while I begin the awkward waving. So take care, everyone, and have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week for session 2.
Goodbye. We love you. Goodbye.
Few seconds of
Mwah.
awkward waving.
Mwah.
Ready to begin.